Well, welcome back. So I got a couple updates. I will, if you already followed and seen my part one install of the trans. Part two is coming, but I had a side note. Currently still testing everything, making sure everything's still good to go. So for my second review, and part two of the trans issue. Anyway, but today's what I'm doing is actually I wound up reaching out to a company, Maxpeedingrodz, and actually they posted something um, to test some of their equipment that they sell, and I actually got into contact with one of the people there, and I'm actually looking at to try the gt45 turbo. Now, currently I run a on 3 kit on my Mustang right now, with it's a 7665 turbo. This is kind of like a 7088, so the compressor is slightly smaller, but the exhaust is exponentially bigger, and the AR is bigger. I'm going from a .96 to 105, which definitely is a lot of flow, which is what you want to to for more power basically. This turbo is huge. I just opened it up just to verify all the parts was there. I really didn't go over everything. I just wanted to make sure that the parts was there. I even called them up and let them know, like, hey, there's the gasket was missing. Now I could reuse my old one, but let's just say if it broke, I'd just be shit out of luck right now. So, but anyway, so what I did notice was the compressor is bigger and the exhaust is bigger. I run 3-inch on both of mine, so immediately I had to buy reducers from the 3.5-inch on both sides of this to the 3-inch to make it work. And that's going from the compressor down to the intercooler piping and the exhaust down to the exhaust piping. Now I could have just bought something down pipe off of eBay and just kind of went from there. But I just wanted to run my exhaust and call it a day. So I bought a reducer off of eBay from a guy who makes them. So basically it looks kind of like this. You take your 3.5 and you reduce it down to 3-inch, and this will work perfectly. This is a V-band style, so it'll mate up to the turbo, and then this mates down to my exact exhaust, and there you go. You know what I mean? Everything works. It's little to no interruption inside of here. It's very, very smooth. It's not bad actually. This is actually a pretty clean cut piece of CNC machine. We did a good job. So we'll see when I hook it up and see how it fits. As far as the turbo, the stuff that came with it, I did get a feed line that came with it. Looks like 7/16 and maybe an 1/8 for the feed line. So pretty standard. It's really no glory in that, but yeah. I did get a little card. Basically it just tells you a couple information. It's really nothing important, but something. But it's not something crazy. All right, so for here, it's the front part. So they did give me a couple brass fittings, and looks like brass fittings, and looks like a oil reducer for the feed, because it opens up and then it reduces it. But I'm really concerned now that I'm looking at that. Why did they reduce it? Usually you only reduce ball bearing, and this is a journal bearing turbo, so I don't understand why we would reduce it. But I have to do some more research, and I'll let you know about that, because if not, then I'm just gonna swap mine on it and kind of call it a day. So I'm really concerned about that. But for overall, we have the turbo itself. This thing's massive, massive. All right. Now, granted, yes, it's not your Gretty or your Precision, your Boost Lab or anything like that. You know, I'm not sitting here comparing that into anything. You know what I mean? This is a 230, $200 turbo, right? It spins fluid. There is no up and down play, slight in and out because there's no oil inside, so you'll get that. But I'll show you. All right, so you have the divided side right there. This is great. If you don't know, most have just one single port, and this whole thing is kind of like open, and that's fine. But this is a twin scroll, so the inducer and exducer both scroll off of the exhaust. It's a whole like science behind it, and I'll post a link up if you want the information on why twin scroll or non-twin scroll or how they say it is divided, undivided. But that's how they built their housing. The casting is not bad. I think it's pretty generic. There's nothing fancy about the casting on the exhaust side at all. But as I said, that's your exhaust. This is your impeller side. As you see, spins pretty freely. This thing's huge. If you look at it, like, this thing's huge. Right, so then you go over to your code side. Right, so take this little protector off. There is dual blades. I think is a total of 10 blades. Compressor and exhaust. I could be wrong, but if I'm correct, that's how it is. They do have a this thing is massive also. So I flip this over and show you what I'm talking about. So you'll see that in there, right? So, but for the most part, that's what I'm looking at right now for the unbox. Is, you know, it's pretty good. I gotta, you know, definitely do some work on this to mount it up. This is a T4 flange. This can run on anything that wants to make some serious power. I think, you know, there's a guy that did one of these, and he's pretty much maxed out somewhere around 800 for this turbo, and that's pretty insane for something so cheap, right? When people spend thousands and thousands of dollars. And I'm doing it because I still rock, like I said, I rock the On3 turbo. I don't think anyone knows where the turbo actually comes from. Could be China, who knows? But for the most part, I've been rocking it for better of a year now, and I don't have any issues with it. It's been on and never came back off. It's been great. So I'm really, you know, excited to see what this thing can actually produce, not just power-wise, but efficiency, you know, drivability, just everything. You know, my boost curve, I want to see it all. Most people just try to slap the biggest turbo and try to make power, but I actually want to see what this thing can actually be capable of doing. But for the most part, that's it for the unboxing. Thanks for watching. Keep an update. There's definitely more to come. The install of this mammoth is going to go in there. And the comparison between the one I'm running, the 70-665 versus the 70-88 is definitely going to be on there. I'm trying to schedule it right now for a dyno run. I want to see what the baseline of where I'm at now, and then the baseline of that. I'm not really looking at power. If I make it, great, but I really kind of want to see what it is for those who are just looking for something to slap on to see if it's, you know, efficient or not. You know what I mean? Everybody doesn't have that money, so that's kind of what I'm doing. But yeah, they gave me this free. I didn't pay anything. So shout out to Maxpeedingrodz. I appreciate it. And this is the unboxing. So stay tuned.